that
That's,
okay? for you?
yeah, sure. Whatever. Hmm. So today I want to, Mary Desjardins, who most of you know, our darling Mary, sent me something that a writing by Sarah McLean. She's on staff at the Hay House or associated with the Hay House. And I was so struck by it that I read it several times and then I sort of adapted it. I took her inspiration and I added my own sort of perceptions of what she was talking about. And I'm going to share that today because it was a nice grounding piece for me personally. So I'd like to share it. So her premise is that we can remind ourselves that wherever we sit, literally and figuratively, is holy ground. And that when we step into that understanding, each moment becomes a holy moment. This is a very strong Course in Miracles teaching as well. So those of you who are Course in Miracles ladies will recognize this. Um, Once we learn and we train ourselves to be in that recognition, life unfolds in this just magnificent, iridescent way because every breath becomes sacred. Not just the idea of every breath, but actually every breath. And not because it's a beautiful day, which it is, not because there's a special celebration today, not because somebody has said this is a special day, but because we're here now. I'm here in this moment now, recognizing that I'm here. So there are no ordinary instances. Everything is holy, just as there are no meaningless breaths. Every breath we take matters. There aren't some breaths that are more important than others. Every breath is one that is part of the vitality and the life force of our beingness. Just as every moment is not ordinary. There's no ordinary moment. Every moment is extraordinary. Extraordinary. And part of what happens in our culture and in our humanness, which we all know, I'm not telling you anything you don't know, I'm just sharing because it's inspiring to me. Part of what happens is that we bifurcate things into the things that are bringing me happiness and I consider holy and the things that I don't. And we create these two buckets. And we, as the mind sorts the information, it puts everything into a bucket. And we start to go on the habit of those, what's in that bucket, and automatically assume that because this is a regular thing I see or a regular thing I do, that it now becomes ordinary. And we stop with the extraordinary. When we see something new for the first time, when we meet somebody new for the first time, there's that moment of it's not ordinary because we don't know them or this, or it's new to us. And we have to go back, roll this back to where it's not about how many times I've seen the sunset. Each time it's extraordinary. Each time. It's not whether it's been named holy or not. It's my experience of being in the moment in that way. Either this is also a very important spiritual teaching that either everything's holy or nothing's holy. That when we bifurcate back into these two buckets, some that is and some that isn't, we are doing the bifurcation and the duality of living the life in this state of some is good, some is bad, some is happy, some is not. And as soon as we do that, our expectations and our desires and our responses become very tethered to what is happening around us. It becomes an external, excuse me, it becomes an external rather than an internal experience. Holiness is happening internally. Sacredness is happening internally. And we've relied on external places, people, opportunities to say that that's where it's happening, but it's happening as an internal experience. It can't be anywhere else. The mosque or the church or the temple is an external structure. It is not the internal experience we're having of it. It's simply a trigger. It's something that allows us to enter. It's a portal. So either everything's holy or nothing is. So we have to either say, I'm willing to accept that which looks messy and not really that pleasing to me as holy, that I'm not going to decide good, bad, good, bad. We have to change our language because language has been so developed into opposites. So it requires that we really are attentive and we really take this time in our life to say how I use my language, really pay attention. How am I using language about my experiences as I go through something? Do I notice that I naturally, easily label something? This is such a, I mean, we've talked about this over and over and over and over. And yet I still see in myself how easily I can go into that place of maybe I don't want to call it judgment. I want to call it just observation. I'll say, oh, I'm in observation. I'm in awareness. But look at my language around it. What words I use to understand that awareness and that observation isn't just what it is. I've added adjectives onto it. I didn't just state the absolute truth of what is. I then had a spin on it of why that particular truth is uncomfortable or not pretty or something I don't want or some judgment. The adjectives that I add onto the description of what is absolutely truth leads me astray. It leads me into places of looking at things in duality. And then that makes some things holy and some things not. This is a human conundrum. So we have to recalibrate. And this is something we do every day with our intentionality. I'm intentional about what words and language, because my language become my understanding of something. When even if it's a silent word that's running through my head, it has huge impact on how I then unfold a situation. So holiness is not reserved for only the extraordinary. It, in fact, is part of the fabric of our daily life. We know that. Holiness travels with us. We travel in and out of things that are messy and not messy. Holiness didn't drop out. The sacred didn't just drop out of us when something got uncomfortable. It's still there. It's with us on the journey, no matter what the journey looks like. So how do we live this? How are we able to treat each moment as a gateway, a portal, a threshold, an entrance into the appreciation of the holiness and sacred that we are carrying with us? That we're carrying with us. The past dissolves into this holy moment and the future emerges out of it. The past dissolves into this holy moment and the future emerges out of it. The holy moment holds the continuum of all things. It doesn't cut off that which was unpleasant and just hold that which is pleasant. The past dissolves into this holy moment and the future emerges out of it. So how do we step into this expanded possibility so that the entire universe consistently conspires, that beautiful Paulo Coelho, I don't think I ever pronounced his name correctly, the universe conspiring on our behalf from The Alchemist. I mean, just so powerful. That one line, so powerful. The universe is constantly conspiring on our behalf. It's just that our mindset doesn't like some of the steps. The conspiracy looks like a conspiracy and we don't like it. So we decide it's not on our behalf because we don't have an expanded enough imagination and willingness to hold the potentiality of this bigger space to where things that we might want to put in that bucket of what we don't like is actually in the whole bucket. Even when it looks and feels painful, it's part of the unfolding of the magic of the holy moment. There's mystery and magic in it. It cannot be dissected mentally. Because if we dissect it, we're going to put the language and the adjectives onto it, and we're going to start separating it again. When our mind gets involved, it decides this feels good, this is scary, this doesn't feel good, this is, whatever. Our mind is so powerful. And yet we have to learn to set it aside so that we can enter into the sacred moment with all that it holds. The mind can keep us from being in the sacred moment. It can keep us from knowing that every moment we live is a holy moment. So the majesty of this universal coherence, that each moment is always an offering, an opportunity to be present with the miracle of being alive and the interconnectedness of all that is. I would suspect if we asked Brenda to talk about this right now, having recently had to look in the face of what life really looks like by having this health challenge, that she would say that life has a different edge to it now, another, maybe an iridescence or something, the aliveness of knowing that this is so precious. This is so precious. This holy moment, the sacred parts of us are so precious, and that we can't take them for granted. So just take a breath now, take a really deep breath, and just breathe into this sacred vessel that is carrying you around. And give thanks to this vessel for holding all that is seemingly difficult and challenging and beautiful and exquisite in the same cauldron. The late, beautiful teacher Thich Nhat Hanh said, "There is no enlightenment outside of daily life." There is no enlightenment outside of daily life. We have this idea we're on a spiritual journey and we're going to be doing all these things that are outside of our normal life. We leave, we travel, and we go places, whether it's in our mind, imagination, or it's in our physical body. We go places where we expect to have the holy because somehow we weren't getting the holy where we already were, or we want to intensify it or expand it. Those are all truths. We do, because you get a different mindset when you're in different places. Some of the normal pieces of life do fall away, but it's life. You took the life with you where you went. You didn't just drop it. You might have dropped some of the responsibilities in the moment for those weeks or days that you were gone, but everything that creates the holy sacred moment is in you, and you took it with you to the new place to get the new experience. So I'm not saying don't go. I love going. You know me. I love to go to these holy places, but I have to learn how to hold that this place is just as holy as those places. They're just different experiences, but I don't diminish that my everyday life, wherever it takes me, whether it's a beautiful day or a not beautiful day, is just as sacred and just as holy. And when I start experiencing my life this way, then the holy moment helps me to have a beginner's mind, because I'm always entering in with the expectation of, I don't know. I'm willing to say, I don't know in this moment. This is the deep spiritual teaching. The more we develop our spiritual acumen, the less we know. I know less now than I knew yesterday. I thought I knew a lot, but now I'm finding out that I know less and less and less, because it's the unknown that I don't know that is actually the fire for this journey. So experiencing each holy moment allows us to stay in this beginner's mind. They're intertwined, the holy moment and the beginner's mind. And it keeps me, when I'm in those spaces, from judgment, expectation, the need to control. All of that drops down. It drops down, and I can meet each experience as if it were for the first time. And then I can have that newness that I associate with that sacredness of it. That doesn't become less sacred because I saw it 100,000 times. It's still just as sacred, just as sacred. So let's take this next week and let's work on the intentionality of releasing the grasp of preconceived notions and invite in the unknown, to say, I want to live in the unknown, the discomfort, the beauty, the uncertainty, the fear, the joy. Nothing needs to be different from what is showing up. I don't have to say, well, when it becomes like this, when everything gets straightened out, or when I feel this, or when I know this. Those things might relinquish or decrease some fears or anxiety. That's all true. But I don't have to know that in order to touch the sacred and the holiness. I do not have to have that information. And let's take the week and work on our own intentionality around holiness and sacredness. And remember, you are the cauldron of that. You're carrying that piece around all day long. All day long. You can offer it to others. You can keep it for yourself. Do whatever you want with it. But you don't leave it at church or at the mosque or in India or anywhere else. It's not left there. So let me see. I have something I want to say and leave as a little affirmation. Let me see if I can get it here. Every moment is a holy one. I only need eyes to see. Open our eyes this week. Let's take the opportunity to be really open and aware and alive, and keep touching back in, touch back in.
Thank you. It's so interesting. This morning in my sadhana, I was so present to the sacredness of my body. And I think I don't know when the separation happened for us, that we see the body as something and the soul as something different, but that there's only a body mind and a body soul. And how easy it is for us to treat this sacredness, this body of ours who carries us through life, how we can treat it badly, with bad food, with bad thoughts, things that are really just negative. Instead of waking up in the morning and really giving thanks to this temple, the house for our soul. And why are we not treating it with utter admiration and caring? So what you just shared reminded me of that. It's like waking up and being thankful, not using the body, but serving our physical body. I think that's something really to take to heart, at least for myself. Good. Let's bring our arms out in front, interlace your fingers, palms facing forward, arms are parallel. Inhale, take a slow, deep breath through your nose. Exhale, open mouth. Arms come back to parallel. So we're moving very slow because I want to deepen your inhalation, exhalation. Inhale, nose. Exhale, open mouth. Pull your navel all the way towards your spine on the exhalation. Inhale, expand, widening. Exhale. Let in this precious breath, the prana. Each breath you're taking keeps us alive. Just imagine you wouldn't inhale for a few minutes. That would be it on us, on this physical body. The sacredness of the breath which starts our life on earth and completes our life on earth. In between, it gives us the possibility to be flexible and healthy. Inhale, stay up. Exhale. Now lean over to the right. Now we just stay here. I want you to gently pull on your left hand. So there's a continuous stretch opening up the left side of your upper body. Inhale, exhale through the nose now. Continuously pull a little bit on your left hand. Unwinding the fascia. Breathing into your stomach. Nourishing your gallbladder, your pancreas. Good. Inhale, come to center. Now turn your torso to the right and exhale, lean back. So we're deepening the stretch. Just for 1 minute, long, deep breathing. Imagine your stomach inside of yourself. Imagine your pancreas, gallbladder, spleen. Everything that's working for you 24/7 without our awareness. And that which keeps us alive needs to be nourished, needs to be pampered. Good. Inhale, slowly come back up. Turn your torso forward. Exhale. Inhale, lean over to the opposite side. Pull gently on that upper hand. opening up our gallbladder meridian so that we make the right decisions on what we put into our mouth. That what we put into our mouth becomes us. So if we put in toxins, we become toxic. Deep breath, last 15 seconds. Pulling gently on our upper hand. Inhale to center. Turn your torso to the left and then lean back. Continue the pull on your upper hand. Now focus on your liver. Largest glandular detoxification organ within us. It's huge, around 3.5 pounds. Just imagine that piece of meat on a kitchen counter. The reservoir of our blood. Do you know what your liver wants? What the liver needs? Leafy greens. Inhale, come to center. Straighten forward. Exhale, open mouth. Now lean over to the left. Keep your upper arms hugging your ears. Exhale forward. Inhale over to the right. Exhale over to the left and down. Big rotations. We're decongesting right now our liver. Arms hugging the ears. Don't lose your ears. Doesn't matter how far you lean forward. Good, and just gently start to reverse the direction. Just imagine how you're squeezing your digestive organs when you fold forward. So you help the decongestion of these organs internally. That's why all movements are crucial for our well-being. Stretching, weight programs, yoga, you name it. The body needs a lot of different disciplines. Last 3 rotations. Good, and come sitting and have your palms touch. Reach them up. Exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, twist to the right. Now wring out your liver. Imagine it's a wet towel. And you help your liver to detox. I always come from if we think for our organs will function better for us. And this is my life philosophy. So we gently come to center, reaching up high, bringing our left hand into our lap. We're going now into our colon and intestines. So inhale, reach up. Exhale over to the left. Inhale up, switch your hands. Exhale and squeeze. Imagine now your large, small intestines inside of you. And you squeeze into the folds of your intestine. Inside of the folds of the intestine is where we can have a little toxic environment if you don't have good bowel movements. Yeah? So every movement is a sacred ritual for our body. One more minute. The last one to each side. And then place your right hand below your belly button and your left hand onto your chest. Close your eyes for a moment. Deep breathing. Remembering that each breath is not only just nourishment for your body, it's also an internal massage for the organs. Remembering that the lymphatic system has no pump and needs the power of your breath to be really strong and vital and healthy. Our soul is living in the most amazing supercomputer on this planet. There is nothing like our body. Not even anything we send to Mars or Venus or wherever they want to send something. This is the most intricate mechanism that keeps us moving and alive and feeling, experiencing all our sensory systems. And then just take a moment of gratitude. Or maybe just this morning, keep your hands where they are while we're moving into our chanting.
यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनान् मृत्युर्मुक्षीयमामृतात् ॐ